First of all, what I want to ask you is, this seems to be a lot of bills rolled into one, sort of like an omnibus type of thing. And I want to know, is this approach that you're putting here before us today data-driven? What is it based upon? I've done a little reading, and people have approached me, and there's a big question as to whether or not it's data-driven, which I think it would be very important to do anything in this particular area and many areas that we do policy in. So can you identify specifically that data, and if you don't have it before you right now, can you provide it before we take action on this by Thursday?
Yes, sir. So I think that's a great question, and I can tell you as to the size of the bill, I would assert that this bill is commensurate with the public safety, security, and protection needs of our state right now. It is much smaller than, say, Senate Bill 200 from 2014. And when it comes to data, we have some research that we've looked at. And we also have data points from people that are on the ground, that are in the system. At the House meeting, the state FOP president came to testify and support. The Commonwealth's attorney's president came and testified and support. The county attorney's president came and testified and support.
Excuse me just for a second. My question is pretty simple. Is it data-driven? Is what I'm asking. And do you have the resources and will provide them so they can be inspected before we take a vote on Thursday? That's all I'm asking.
Yes, sir. I want to understand it.
Can you do that?
I want to understand it better because the data for what, sir?
Well, you got all these bills, you got all these things that rolled into one. There must be some foundation and research that's been done on which you base this, or is this just aspirational?
So if you're saying is there data to support that that this type of policy makes communities safer and reduces crime, yes, sir, we do have that. The gentleman sitting here can speak to that.
Well, I only asked a very direct question. I said, you have data that you base this upon, and will you provide it before sufficient time before we take action on this Thursday?
Yes, sir. I can provide some of it right now.
Can I get it tomorrow specifically?
I can hand it to you right now.
All the data that this is based upon?
Well, no. Not all of it, but everything that I have here with me.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the data that's driving the policy changes that you're proposing here. That's all. It's very simple.
Yes, sir.
And Senator,
absolutely.
Get that, but it's also conversations with a lot of experts, a lot of circuit judges, a lot of Commonwealth attorneys.
I'm talking about data.
That is data, sir.
Right.
That is data.
That's data because you have a conversation with somebody and they give their opinion about something.
It absolutely is. Experts that live in this system, that work around these provisions every single day.
Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I don't want to take all your time. Now I just want to make sure I can get the information. Second thing I have is, what is the impetus for this? Is this, I think, at least what I'm picking up, there's some increase in crime that's going on, or is that the impetus?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. So have you looked at the data in Jefferson County and across the state as to what's happening with crime in Kentucky? Jefferson County, excuse me, let me finish. Yes, Jefferson County specifically, because the data I've looked at in the last few days demonstrates that crime in almost every category, some exceptions, are precipitously going down, and that you have a similar trend that's taking place across the state. Now, I know you can raise an exception and you can project from that, but all my question is have you consulted that, and are you aware of that?
I'm aware that Kentucky is one of only 3 states in the country in 2023 where violent crime rose. That is what I'm aware of. This bill is focused on violent crime.
That's not my question.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to be quick, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Senator, if you're asking me if I'm aware of the data that you're looking at, the answer is no.
Go ahead, Representative.
I'm sorry, your question?
If you're asking me if I'm aware of the data that you have in front of you, the answer is no, sir.
Then I'll provide that to you.
Thank you.
Then the last question.
Hold on a second. Also, though, Senator, look, we know what's happening in our communities. 10 years ago, we had around 80 murders a year, a little bit fewer than 80 murders a year in Louisville. Now, if we have 140, we're lucky. It's up in the 160s every year. That's just murders. Also, as Representative Baumann just said, and I want to say it again, this is from the Council of State Government, which we rely on a lot of things that we do. Kentucky is only one of 3 states that had an increase in violent crime last year. That's an important data point.
Okay, you'll provide that data as I
Of course
made the
we will. Yeah, and
previous
that's
request.
an-
Okay, I think we dealt with that.
I'll actually point out, members, there's also some crime data in the back of your folders if you want to review that shows Kentucky's crime and violent crime data over the last several years for reference, which shows it's not nearly as bad as everyone says it is.
Well,
And
but I have one more thing I'm gonna say, and that is that in 2022, the last numbers I have, and Senator, I know you don't. I know we disagree on the policy of this bill. I know that, and I very
You don't
much.
know what
but
I disagree on.
Okay,
I just
Hold
want
on,
to know what
hold
this
on,
is
Senator
based
Neal.
on.
I don't mean to.
let him finish.
I don't mean to in any way besmirch you or I think we see it a little bit different. But let me say this: 124 JCPS students were shot in 2022. Hold on, I'm going to finish this point. And 23 of them were shot and killed. We do have a violence problem in Kentucky, especially among our young folk. And so you want to know what you said, what was the catalyst to this bill? 124 JCPS kids getting shot is a doggone good one.
Thank you very much. And
Senators,
my last
I'm sorry, go ahead.
and my
Do you have
last
another question?
question.
Go ahead.
My last question is costs that this generate. Does that moderate any approaches or concerns about how we approach controlling crime in our communities and across Kentucky? Because the information I have, and I think we all agree, we want less crime.
Right.
You know, I think in an ideal world, we want no crime. But the fact of the matter is, we're going to have crime because we set rules and people have aberrant behavior in various societies, but including our own. But what I'm asking is cost a consideration in your judgment in terms of the policies you're proposing here?
Sir, I can tell you that the cost of doing nothing far outweighs the cost of what the impact on this bill would be. Far outweigh. It's not even close. We're talking the impact of crime in the state of Kentucky is in the billions of dollars annually. And one of the reports I saw recently said that this bill may cost the state $1 billion, may cost the state $1 billion over 10 years. And so when we're talking about human life, as Whip Nemus just referenced, and really the cost of crime, it's not even close. This is good policy, and the fiscal impact is minimal compared to the cost of crime itself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I want to give